Now, coincidences happen, and they happen in football same as everywhere else. A striker just happens to always score against one opponent. Two teams that play out the same result over and over, and a referee who seems to save his worst matches for your team. Coincidence is right. Well, as football fans we like to feel otherwise. Heart over head, love over logic. But they're just feeling, aren't they? Like when a fascist dictatorship keeps getting all of the decisions at their World Cup. Coincidence? When referees let a few bad tackles go until someone gets hurt. It's just bad luck, eh? And when the same host nation keeps seeing their opponent get perfectly good goals ruled out and tight calls go their way time after time after time, then you'll never find us yelling conspiracy here on the Sporting Almanac podcast.
And the goal is given. At what point was he offside? Or was it a use of the hand that England are complaining about?
Well, they didn't think it went over the line in 1966. That definitely went over the line by a yard.
That's not me blaming the referee for England going out, by the way. I just thought it was absolutely awful.
Hey Ben,
Hi Jack,
how are you?
I'm okay.
All the way over on the other side of my living room.
Yeah, not often we get to do this.
No, only the second time. But yeah, World Cup. It started.
It has.
How have you found it so far?
I've enjoyed one game,
And which game was that?
Brazil versus Morocco.
Oh, that was good, yes. A lot better than Scotland versus Haiti was, if we're honest. Good result for Scotland, though.
It's been okay. I enjoyed Australia upsetting Turkey,
Yeah, that was good. That was very good.
but we haven't seen any major controversial officiating decisions yet.
Not yet, but
There's time.
the tournament is still young. So why do you mention major controversial refereeing decisions, Ben?
Because the World Cup has a rich tapestry of officiating cock-ups, and that's what we want to talk about.
Yeah, that's what we're focusing on today. So we're going to do a bit of a top 10 list, but focus particularly on, well, a couple in a little bit of detail and one in particular, or one
One
World
tournament,
Cup. Yeah.
one run.
Yes, in particular, which is controversial.
It's going to be fun because, well, I don't know. Some of them are funnier than others. Some are just funny. Some are controversial. Some are just straight up hurtful.
Yeah, some are speculative on our part, to be fair. We will be filling in a lot of gaps for our own suspicions, perhaps you could
Cynicism.
say. Cynicism.
A theme running through each episode.
It does seem to be a common thread, certainly so far in these World Cup episodes. But yeah, where to begin?
Well, you want to do it in reverse order, so
I do. I've made a list.
Yeah.
I've checked it twice, and there's not a lot of nice on it. So I'll start off with a few honourable mentions because my list actually went beyond 10. First honourable mention I will make for bad refereeing is from 1978. This is Brazil versus Sweden in 1978. It was 1-1, last minute of the game in stoppage time. Corner kick to Brazil. Cross went in. Zico got his head on the ball, headed it into the back of the net, but just before he did, referee Clive Thomas blew the final whistle.
and where's Clive from?
Clive is from Wales. He's a Welsh referee.
Spiteful.
He ruled the match had already ended, which is correct. If he'd blown the whistle, then the game is over. Quite why a referee would blow a whistle when there's a corner kick either about to go in or just after it's gone in is beyond me.
I think if you're a referee and you've given a free kick or a corner or a goal kick or something, you have to let it be taken. Like, otherwise, what's the point? If what you're saying is there isn't enough time for this corner,
Yeah.
then just blow the whistle as soon as the ball goes out.
Yeah, it's a situational thing as well. You are putting on a spectator sport, ultimately. Do the fans really want to see you blow that final whistle? Well, I'm sure the Swedish fans probably did, but anyway, bit of
Yeah.
arrogance on his part perhaps, but
Reeks of control, doesn't it?
it does. But, I mean, technically he was correct. Another example of a British referee cocking up in a World Cup is my second honourable mention. Croatia-Australia 2006.
Remember it well.
Yeah, Graham Poll gave Joseph Simunic a yellow card in the 61st minute. He showed him a second yellow card in the 90th minute.
So presumably then showed a red card, did he?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But you see, the problem is, and this is actually I find this really funny, The reason he didn't give him a red card after the second yellow card is he had 2 columns in his notebook, one for the Australian players and one for the Croatian players. Now, Joseph Simjanic was playing for Croatia. However, Joseph Simjanic grew up in Australia and has a thick Australian accent. So when Graham Poll chatted to him before giving him the first yellow card, he's inadvertently noted him down in the Australian players column.
Is that the explanation?
That is the explanation,
I
yeah.
mean, he was wearing a red and white check kit.
Not the most subtle sporting jersey in the world, but yeah. Anyway, and he then went on to give him a third yellow card, which was then followed by a red card. That was Graham Poll's last ever World Cup game, unsurprisingly.
Can't think why.
He was a well-respected referee. He had been pipped as a potential referee for the later rounds and maybe even the final, but did not happen. Honourable mention number 3, Kuwait, France, 1982.
Kuwait?
Yeah. This is, I think it's the only time Kuwait have qualified, and they may have been, so if not the first, certainly one of the first Middle Eastern countries to qualify. They were trailing France 3-1 towards the end of a group stage game in 1982. Alan Giresse scored what appeared to be France's 4th goal. But before he scored the goal, a lot of the Kuwaiti players basically just stopped playing, and they stopped playing because they claimed they heard a whistle from the crowd. Now, that's unfortunate. By the laws of the game, that's a goal.
Yeah, it's not a reason to stop. Yeah,
it's bad luck, obviously. However, when the referee went to allow the goal, Sheikh Fahad Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah, the head of the Kuwaiti delegation and a member of the Kuwaiti ruling family, no less, decided he wasn't quite prepared to take that explanation from the referee. So he entered the pitch and marched directly towards the Soviet referee Miroslav Stupar. After several minutes of discussion with him and protest, he then just tried to get the Kuwaiti players to leave the pitch, and the referee basically capitulated and decided to disallow the goal.
That's mad.
And continue the game at 3-1. Now, France scored a 4th goal anyway. It ended 4-1.
Why did he get so upset over the 4th goal in a drubbing?
I don't know. I guess if tempers are already up, I guess you react in funny ways, but there you go.
Yeah. I mean, is that 82 Spain?
Yes.
Yeah,
pretty bonkers. Memorable. My 4th honourable mention, Ben, now you might find this a little bit controversial.
We're not even in the list yet.
Look, I happen to get 14 out, sue me. Okay, my 4th one is it's a game from 1966. It was at Wembley on the 30th of July 1966. It was England versus West Germany.
No, this one doesn't count. This was over the line, mate.
So
clear as day.
For those of you who are unaware, which I'm going to presume will be none of the English people listening, it was 2-2. It was in extra time. Jeff Hurst got the ball in the penalty area, turned beautifully, crashed the ball off the underside of the crossbar.
Crossed the line by about 4 yards.
It came down on or around the goal line and bounced out again. The Swiss referee Gottfried Dienst initially didn't give the goal, but he consulted with Soviet linesman Tofig Baramov.
Where's he from now? Where's that? Is it like Kyrgyzstan or somewhere like that? Uzbekistan?
Yeah, it was.
It's one of the stands, isn't it?
Yeah, he was referred to as a Russian linesman, but he wasn't Russian.
Yeah.
In the conventional sense. Obviously, the Soviet Union was made up of different Soviets, as it were, Russia being the largest one, but I don't think he was. I think you're right. I think he was, but I can't remember anyway. But he gave the goal. Obviously, the German players immediately protested the ball hadn't crossed the line. And if you were to look at the film footage, really look closely at it.
What you'll see is that this isn't even controversial. It's just 3-2.
What you'd see is the ball went nowhere near over the line.
The ball does not cross the line. But we will come to the fact that we have paid handsomely for this luck.
Yeah. We cashed in all our luck chips early, and the rest of our World Cup experience has basically been pure torture. So, what would have happened in extra time without that? You could also make the argument that England's 4th goal, there was some people on the pitch for it.
Yeah.
Who thought it was all over.
It is now.
The referee may well have stopped the game in other circumstances, but he did not. But nevertheless, goals were given, 4-2 win.
Yeah.
World champions, baby.
Jeff Hurst trying to blast the ball into Rose Ed, accidentally hit it at the top corner.
Yeah, the best accidental goal in history. He just wanted to waste time, mishit it into the top corner. To score at that point the first hat-trick, the first hat-trick in the World Cup final.
Yeah, until Killian.
Yeah, indeed. Anyway, do you want to get to the actual list now?
Yeah. Again, reverse order, because you've prioritised these. These are not really in any particular order, but you've prioritised them.
They're sort of in order. I've stuck a few of them together because they can be compared to one another, but read into it what you will. They're just in a random order, really. Number 10, 1930 World Cup. We did briefly mention this on a previous episode.
Hmm.
So It was Argentina versus France. Now, tournament was being hosted in Uruguay, which is basically the other side of an estuary, I think, away from Argentina. So Argentina weren't the host, but they were near as damn it. They were 1-0 up with 6 minutes to go of their match against France when France had a promising counter-attacking opportunity. This was in the group stage. France were through on goal, and the referee decided to blow the final whistle. Did I mention there was 6 minutes to go? So all the players...
Where did that guy from CAF who did it in AFCON get the idea from?
Well, there you go, exactly. This was a Brazilian referee, so I don't know if you can necessarily say it was, I don't know, could have been some South American bias, I guess. Nevertheless, the players started to leave the pitch until officials on the sidelines realised, presumably someone with a stopwatch, realised the error, protested to the officials. The players were ordered back onto the field. After a lengthy interruption, play resumed, obviously not with France in a promising position anymore. They had several attacks late in the game, but they couldn't find an equaliser, so Argentina held out for victory and eventually went on to play in the World Cup final. But yeah, that was probably the first big refereeing cock-up.
I was going to say, like, the thing that's fun about this list, and even the mention in dispatches, is that it illustrates that refereeing controversy has been around for some time.
Oh, yes.
It's not a modern phenomena.
No, and, well, in the early days, it was potentially even more brazen than it is now, one we will come to a little bit further down the list, one which I did put quite high on the list because it is just pure... I mean, there's referee cock-ups, and then there's referees who are crooked, potentially.
That's it. There's a difference between big, high-profile mistakes, which anyone can make, and perhaps something more sinister. A little bit of bribery here, a little bit of corruption there.
Yeah, and incompetence is the other one. And I think the next one was, I'm not sure incompetence is fair, but it's certainly a referee. We talk about this a lot when we're sort of watching old highlights and seeing games as they start. The referees lose control of the game. That's sort of explanation of it. If they don't get the cards out early, if they don't stamp their authority on the game, you can quickly lose control, especially when it's a really tense, potentially two rival teams, or particularly if it's in the knockout rounds of a tournament. And this is an example of that. This is Brazil-Colombia from 2014. The quarterfinal match, obviously a huge match. Colombia have had quite a checkered history that we'll come to in the World Cup. And this was an opportunity for them to potentially get to a semi-final.
Does James Rodriguez and co?
Yes, James Rodriguez and co. And this is obviously a Brazilian World Cup they were hosting, so Brazil were the home nation. The referee was Carlos Velasco Caballo, and if the match itself had 54 fouls in it, but only 4 yellow cards given.
54 fouls is more than one every 2 minutes.
Yes. Yeah, so about one every 90 seconds.
Bearing in mind the ball is only in play for about an hour in football.
Yeah, that's probably about once a minute if you take into account when the ball's in play. And this game includes, unsurprisingly, one of the most famous injuries in World Cup history as well. So Thiago Silva had opened the scoring early for Brazil, but after that the game descended into heavy challenges, physical confrontations. Colombia believed they'd equalise in the 64th minute when the ball was forced into the goal. Colombian captain Mario Yepes, is it?
I think Yepes is right, yeah.
Forced the ball into the net from a free kick, but the goal was disallowed for offside in a crowded penalty area. A lot of Colombian spectators and commentators remained unconvinced by the decision after replays, but nevertheless, it was a bit borderline. David Luiz scored a fantastic goal shortly afterwards from a free kick.
Screamer.
Yeah. Colombia had questioned the awarding of the free kick itself. In the 78th minute, Julio Cesar fouled Carlos Bacca inside the penalty area. He was last man. Now, I think this is prior to the laws being changed to
about last man.
Basically give not a double punishment for being the last man. If you go
amnesty for keepers.
Yeah, if you're going for the ball in it's inside the penalty area and you give away a penalty and you are last man and you are genuinely going for the ball, you will not get a red card anymore. I think this was prior to it, although don't quote me on that. However, Julio Cesar escaped without a red card for that. James Rodriguez scored the penalty. But obviously had the red card come out as well, blah, 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 12 minutes to go. But by this point, the game had descended into more petty fouls.
Chaos.
Yeah, lots of chaos. And then in the 88th minute, the what
Neymar.
Inevitably happens when you lose control of a game. Juan Zuniga drove his knee into Neymar's back, fractured a vertebrae, ended his World Cup. No card was shown for that.
Missed the semi-final, and that went really well for Brazil.
Yeah, so Brazil were pretty battered and bruised, obviously missing their star man going into a semi-final. Germany 7, Brazil 1. I'm not sure they can blame it entirely on that, but
no,
but nevertheless.
Yeah.
But yeah, There you go.
That was I remember that tournament. I remember that quite well, actually. It was it was a great tournament. Actually,
it was
2014.
Yeah, it was, and probably the last World Cup that I've not had some reservations over the host.
Yeah, for sure. Not such a good tournament for us.
No, but one in a series of not some.
Can we have Ricky Lambert up front?
Yeah, God, halcyon days, hey. It does put into context why us getting to the semi-finals in 2018 felt so damn good.
Yeah, for
Even
sure.
if we should have been Croatia.
But yeah, Brazil all came crashing down for them in the semis. But that's not what we're talking about today.
No, I'm going to quickly go through 8, 7, and 6 because these are all linked and famous in the sense that they are all known as the Battle of the place they were played in.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's not dissimilar to what you were talking about with Colombia, really. The Colombia-Brazil game just where it kicks off in a single episode.
Shit kicking going on left, right, and centre, and referees losing control of the game. The first one, I'll do these in chronological order. The first one's 1954. First of those named battles, it's the Battle of Bern.
Nice.
It's between Hungary and Brazil. So Hungary at this point, best team on the planet.
Puskas.
Yeah, they won this game. They would later go on to lose in the final to West Germany in one of the biggest shocks probably in World Cup history, in the sense they'd beaten them, I think, 8-3 earlier in the tournament, and then they lost 3-2 in the final. But I get ahead of myself because this is the quarterfinal we're talking about. Hungary versus Brazil. Brazil were the unfortunate runners-up of the 1950 World Cup, where it was almost a national trauma there. Brazilians know all about national football trauma. That was their first, losing the final match.
Taste of it.
Against Uruguay, yeah.
I mean, Crimea River, they won 5 of the bloody things.
Yeah, I think they soon got over it, especially given 1958, they won 3 out of the next 4 after 1954 here. So, this is Hungary, beaten South Korea 9-0, West Germany 8-3, as I said earlier in the tournament. It was, well, pissing it down in Bern. I don't know any other way of putting it. It's what happens when you host a World Cup in Switzerland. The weather is a little bit inconsistent, but there you are. Hungary quickly raced into a 2-0 lead, but the game became very ill-tempered very quickly. English referee Arthur Ellis awarded 2 penalties during the match. He was forced to intervene constantly as tensions began to escalate. It's 42 free kicks awarded in the end. It's not a bad number.
Not bad.
Not a bad number for modern age in terms of free kicks. That's almost 1 every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
For the era, it was astonishing. Like, this was an era where you pretty much had to be guilty of assault to actually have a free kick given against you. After Hungary were awarded a penalty in the second half, there was a pitched invasion by Brazilian officials and journalists who were watching from the sidelines, who had to be removed by police before the game could continue. The match degenerated into a series of violent confrontations. After Nilton Santos fouled Josef Boksic, the pair began fighting and were both sent off by Ellis, which was about the only thing you could be sent off for in the 1950s, to be fair. Actually throwing punches. Brazilian forward Humberto Tosi was later dismissed after kicking Hungary defender Guilherme Laurent. By full time, 3 players had been sent off. Numerous others were fortunate to remain on the pitch, and a lot of people were limping and dealing with bruises and battered bodies as well. Arthur Ellis described the players as having behaved like animals. It has been remarked that under modern standards, like, most of the team would have been sent off for the level of challenges they were putting in. The violence did not end at the full-time whistle.
Why would it?
Fighting continued in the tunnel, in the dressing room. Brazilian players, officials, photographers, journalists and spectators. I don't know why these journalists are so keen to scrap at the moment.
Yeah, why are they fighting so much?
The Hungarian manager described it as being a small war, which is accurate. Police restored order with batons and drawn firearms.
Drawn firearms?
And despite being one of the most violent and chaotic matches in World Cup history, FIFA imposed no significant tournament-wide disciplinary action. The game became known as the Battle of Bern and obviously remains one of the most famous battles in World Cup history, but not the last to contain the name Battle of.
No. Second
one is probably the worst of the lot in terms of violence at hand. 1962, the Battle of Santiago, Italy versus Chile. So there was sort of tensions between the two countries, which seems bizarre when it's Italy and Chile. Chile were the host nation, and there was a lot of sort of accusations flown around about bias and refereeing, and the tournament itself had generally been marred by violence so far. Pele had famously gone into it, getting kicked to 7 shades out of him, being the best young player in the world at the time. Ken Aston, another English referee, found himself officiating, and it basically turned into one of the most violent games ever played, if not the most violent. Teams were fighting each other from the off. Giorgio Farini was sent off for Italy, but he initially refused to leave the pitch, claiming language barrier as the problem, like not understanding the English referee. Obviously, the English referee didn't speak Italian.
Did he understand the colour red?
Well, therein lies the problem, because back in 1962 there were no red and yellow cards. The referee would simply order a player off the pitch, or would tell a player he booked him, or would write it down in his notebook, hence the phrase booking.
Maybe he's telling the truth.
In this event, he went and got some policemen instead to take him away. The police had to lead the Italian midfielder off the pitch. Punches, kicks, off-the-ball assaults occurred throughout the match. There is some good footage of this, and it just looks like a boxing match. There was a punch by a Chilean player on an Italian that escaped punishment. There was another Italian...
Probably still would under modern VAR rules.
Yeah, there's another Italian red card for retaliation as well. So Ken Aston basically commented on it, saying he was less a referee and more of a policeman during the game. And, more importantly, that inspired the introduction of red and yellow cards in football. That, and also an incident 4 years later, England versus Argentina in the quarterfinals in 1966, when the Argentine captain was sent off, but again refused to leave the pitch. Between those incidents, red and yellow cards began to be trialled from 1970 and became commonplace in football sort of from the mid-70s. Although, weirdly, did you know this? English football started using red and yellow cards and then decided they didn't want to use them anymore and stopped using them between like 1980 and 1987. Something like that, 1981, 1987, that kind of time. We didn't use cards in English football. So yeah, there's a fun fact for you. It was considered that reaching for a yellow card was too easy for a referee, and it stopped the referees having to use their voice to communicate. So there you go. Number 6, Portugal 1, Netherlands 0 from 2006. This is the Battle of Nuremberg. 16 yellow cards and 4 red cards. Still the worst disciplinary record in World Cup history. Constant fouls and confrontations. I don't think I have to go through this. Basically, it was just two teams kicking the shit out of one another.
Yeah, I got ahead of myself there because the other one, I thought you were talking for a minute about the World Cup final, but you were talking about the group game.
Yes.
Yeah.
The World Cup final was bad and probably does deserve a mention, to be fair, but...
Well, Holland they went through a period which is really off-brand for them of just adopting quite a physical style, which culminated in that World Cup final where they knew that Spain were better than them and they tried to play rough and tumble.
I think they happened to have a couple of very physical players who are
Johnny Heitinga, Nigel
de Jong, yeah, being the main examples of that, who were quite physical and could stamp their authority on a game. And then they had a couple of extremely sort of skillful players ahead, Arjen Robben, Wesley Sneijder, and the like. I guess that was sort of the mentality. Is a bit like ice hockey. You have your
enforcers,
and you have your skillful men, and then one protects the other. But there we are.
Well, got them to a World Cup final, to be fair.
Yeah. Number 5, England 1, Germany 4, 2010.
Shambles.
Some would say
one of the most egregious
retribution for 1966, because the exact opposite happened in this game.
Yeah. Although this one was, I agree, but the fact that this was missed is embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. The fact we didn't have goal line technology in 2010 was pretty embarrassing. And it was a lot of stubbornness on the part of Sepp Blatter and FIFA to resist it.
They had a camera on the crossbar.
Yes.
Which is why we know this went in.
We know this went in because it went in.
Yeah,
because it was so obvious.
You could see it on the actual television, from broadcasting angles, but they actually did have a camera on the line.
Yeah, but they weren't allowed to use it. They couldn't use video replays or anything, even if they played it up on the big screen and stadium. They saw it went in. Yeah,
I remember Lampard pointing at it.
Yeah, can't do anything about it. But yeah, the situation was England were playing absolute shite.
Yes.
And frankly, we were going to go out of that game one way or another.
We were getting demolished, weren't we?
We were 2-0 down, and then all of a sudden, Matthew Upson, of all people, scored a goal.
Set piece.
Yeah.
Header, corner.
Which is what you need. And then very soon afterwards, or feels very soon afterwards anyway.
It was, I think.
Yeah, Lampard took a shot, sort of bouncing volley.
He chipped Neuer.
Yeah, over Neuer's head, hit the bottom side of the crossbar, bounced, a yard over the line, I swear.
Halfway into the goal.
Yeah. And the backspin on the ball caused it to spin out. Obviously, referee missed it. It would have been 2-2. Germany scored a couple of goals. Sepp Blatter later apologised, and it basically, this led to goal line technology being introduced not too long afterwards. But there you go. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Dem the brakes.
Yep. Number 4, Hand of God. Do I need to say anything about the Hand of God?
This piece of shit.
For those who don't know, and I strongly suspect everyone does, England, Argentina, 1986, 4 years after the Falklands War, so bit of tension, shall we say, between the two countries. A lot of tension between the two. It remains a lot of tension between the two countries.
Yeah.
The scoring was opened by Diego Maradona with a header. Or
except it wasn't a header.
So the referee thought. It's weird how 5'6", Diego Maradona managed to outjump 6'3" or wherever he is, Peter Shilton
with his arm
with his fist in the air. Yeah, somehow Maradona miraculously managed to outjump him, but it turned out that's because his hand was above his head. Tunisian referee failed to spot it. The assistant referee, very well placed to spot it, also failed to see it. And Maradona later described the goal as being a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God.
And it's the reason why it's been coined the hand of God.
Yeah.
He did score possibly the greatest World Cup goal ever scored in that game.
Undoubtedly the greatest goal probably ever scored, full stop. Him or Gareth Bale, probably.
Yeah, Bale, mate.
But it was incredible goal.
It genuinely was.
You have to say that's magnificent. 2-0 to Argentina.
On an absolute shit tip of a pitch as well.
Yeah, incredible. Didn't use his right foot once. Gary Lineker scored a goal in the second half, but wasn't enough. Yeah.
Wasn't to be. They won that World Cup, didn't they, the Argentinians?
They did. Maradona pretty much, it's how the story goes, pretty much single-handedly led them to it.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Indeed. Any others?
1934, Italy versus Spain. So this was Benito Mussolini. Have you heard of him, Ben?
Yeah, he's a well-known character from history.
Yeah, fascist dictator of Italy, had scored a massive propaganda coup by getting the World Cup to his country in 1934. Italy being successful was the aim to showcase the supposed strength, unity and superiority of fascist Italy. You've heard the story before. They
went through a little purple patch, didn't they? FIFA and the IOC of awarding major international events to fascist organisers.
Yeah, 1934 Italy World Cup, 1936 Germany Olympics.
And winter and summer.
Winter and summer, as we did point out, yeah.
And I think the 1940s were scheduled to go to Japan.
Yeah. Well, why not hit all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is actually a replay, so obviously when games were drawn in those days, no penalties, not until the 70s. So it was 1-1 and it went to a replay. And the replay was one of the most controversial games in history. Spain scored a couple of what were apparently perfectly good goals that were ruled out. Italian players...
Not the last time that would happen to Spain.
No, we're coming to that. Goalkeeper was targeted, Spanish goalkeeper, with rough challenges going completely unpunished. Both teams were bad and bruised. Obviously, Spain started biting back, but they were getting penalised more than the Italians were. Spanish players, journalists and historians basically have accused officials of consistently favouring the hosts. Couldn't possibly imagine why. Rumours were that Mussolini had placed immense pressure on the tournament's referees, shall we say. And obviously, though definitive proof of match fixing has never emerged, the replay remains the most cited example of alleged political interference on the World Cup, shall we say.
Yeah.
Number 2, and I know you'll be keen to talk about this one because it's something we reference quite often as being simply
the worst decision.
This in all of football history, there has never been a worse challenge, full stop, let alone a worse challenge that went completely unpunished.
It's mad.
Than in the 1982 semi-final between West Germany and France. So, 3-3.
Patrick Battiston doesn't remember it.
Well, why would he? I mean, Michel Platini thought he was dead.
He didn't he just need like entirely new teeth?
Oh, yeah, and probably half his skull as well.
Yeah.
So, semi-final in Seville, 3-3 draw, it ended up being. It went to penalties. Germany ended up progressing to the final.
Germany went on pens, shock.
Yeah, shock. They did lose the final, though, to Italy, so some justice there. The match was level at 1-1 in the second half. Michel Platini, as he did, played a perfectly weighted ball through to substitute Patrick Battiston. He broke clear of the West German defence. He was 1-on-1 with German goalkeeper Harald Schumacher.
They collided violently.
I think you could say that. So Battiston reached the ball first. He directed a shot. It went just wide of the post. But the momentum of West German goalkeeper Harald Schumacher, shall we say, caused a collision, an inadvertent collision. Schumacher had no realistic chance against the ball, but he carried on anyway. He flung himself fully towards
shoulder charge
Battiston's face. So Schumacher's hip collided with the Frenchman's face with tremendous force. Battiston was knocked unconscious instantly and left motionless on the pitch.
You'd get ejected for this in NFL.
You get arrested for this.
Yeah, he targets the man and full dive at the man. As you say, hips are at head height. This isn't Battiston stooping to header the ball past someone's knees.
No, there's not a sport in the world that this wouldn't be a straight red card in. Literally. Even UFC, you'd get a red card for this, I swear. That is a thing that exists. Not that UFC has any soul, but let's not go into that.
DQ'd in mixed martial arts.
The collision left Battiston with broken teeth, damaged vertebrae, cracked ribs, a severe concussion, and later placed into a temporary coma.
He goes full KO hands.
Like literally, yeah.
When you watch the video, he's out. You can see he's out before he hits the floor.
Yeah.
Like the body just lands face down.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's
like he's been electrocuted or something.
Such an unpleasant thing to watch, especially when you know what happened. Michel Platini, obviously, he said he believed he died because he had no pulse and he looked pale. Which I think is
pale.
I think that's death, to be fair.
He might have actually been momentarily dead. It's not inconceivable.
Harold Schumacher displayed little concern.
No, he didn't.
The fact.
He was like almost like gesturing for him to get up. Like he's time wasting as they remove his lifeless body.
Yeah. He was just stood calmly waiting to take the goal kick because that's right, Ben. No foul was given.
No foul.
No card was given. This was a goal kick while Battiston received oxygen and was stretchered off the field.
A goal kick.
The Dutch referee Charles Corver, neither a foul nor a penalty, no card issued, play restarted with a goal kick to West Germany.
He must have been like blind.
Genuinely, I have never seen a worse challenge ever in football. I think the only one that comes close, and again, this wasn't a red card as well, was Ben Thatcher's assault on Pedro Mendes. Yes.
Yeah, excellent reference. Like borderline yellow, I think was the commentary. When Ben Thatcher punches Pedro Mendes. Pedro Mendes, isn't it?
Yeah, he was unconscious.
Clean in the face, into the advertising hoardings. Right, and the commentator says, "Ooh, that's a borderline yellow."
Oh, it's a different age, Ben. It was about 2006.
Unbelievable. It's just a vicious elbow.
It's the only comparison, but it was worse because the amount of force involved.
Well, also, Thatcher's definitely just assaulting him, whereas like Schumacher's very recklessly blocking.
Yes, whereas Ben Thatcher was trying to hurt his opponents, as Ben Thatcher was wont to do.
Yeah, mate, absolutely outrageous that he gave a goal kick.
Yeah.
It's almost worth show noting that one because it is...
I probably will, yeah.
Unbelievable.
As I say, it's the worst challenge I've ever seen. I've seen no worse challenge given red cards in games, put it that way. As in, you see a lot of bad challenges like broken legs and snapped ankles and stuff like that. They don't compare to this.
Well, it's mainly because they're like reckless attempts at the ball where you take the man, or if you miss the ball, you only get the man. Whereas this is just a targeted block where he just creams a guy in the head. I think it did spark. There was outrage about this. I think it did influence the way in which like player safety is policed.
Yeah,
because people were a bit like, if you're missing them.
Yeah, I mean, safeguarding is a priority ultimately at any level.
Absolutely insane.
But that is my top 9. So number 1 is the only one left to do. And
well, number 1 it's a tournament, isn't it? That's the reason why we left it at number 1.
It's because it happened twice, ultimately. Well, 3 times, arguably.
Maybe even 4.
Maybe even 4.
2002.
Yes, and it involves one of the host nations.
Yeah.
In that, and that host nation, anyone who knows that World Cup will be not surprised to know is South Korea.
It's like, the thing that's interesting about this is that, like you said, and as you've illustrated through these examples, there have been plenty of isolated officiating controversies, and the World Cup is no stranger to that. But I would say this is probably the only tournament where people were like, this looks a little systemic.
Yeah.
It looks a little contrived. And it was hosted by Japan and South Korea. And the controversy really very much began from the get-go in the group stages. Although it's right to say that the first controversy had nothing to do with South Korea. It was in the Brazil versus Turkey game, which you'll remember very well. And we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The referee, though, was a referee called Kim Young-ju. South Korean.
Does sound like a South Korean name, not going to lie.
There was quite a lot of cards in Brazil versus Turkey in the groups. Turkey were very good that year. They would end up getting to the semi-finals. Anyway, Mr. Young-ju sent off Turkey's Hasan Ünsal for a non-existent foul on Rivaldo. Well, I think he actually sent him off for kicking the ball in his face. The replays just show it hit him in the knee, right?
Yes. I mean, there's no subtlety about it. It was a nothing.
Yeah, and it was...
Maybe a yellow card nowadays, but don't think back in 2002 it would have been a yellow card.
Yeah, and anyway, long story short, Turkey got 2 reds, went down 2-1. But back to Japan and South Korea. They both progressed out of the groups as hosts. I think it's 94 the last time a host hadn't got past the last 16, and that is relevant, I think. If you're a conspiracy theorist, so
in that they didn't want it to be
a hostless tournament.
Yes, they didn't. Not necessarily just for the prestige and sort of the money they can make from the host being in the later rounds. Just being like, this was FIFA who were beginning to expand the tournaments around the world. Obviously, USA in '94, they hadn't got very far, the USA, because they were very much a developing team back in 1994. You could argue FIFA probably didn't want that to happen again.
Yes.
To make a sort of like, why are you doing this? Why are you having two co-hosts who neither of whom can get far in the tournament kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Giving them a free berth.
And it's interesting because Japan got out of Group H undefeated. They did pretty well to get out of a group with Russia, Tunisia and Belgium.
Yeah.
Back when Belgium were just emerging as quite a good side. And that earned them a tie against the aforementioned Turkey in the last 16. South Korea did very well to get out of Group D undefeated, with wins over Portugal, Poland, and a draw against the United States of America.
Yeah.
Their refereeing controversies began in the group stages against Portugal, South Korea being the beneficiary of 2 red cards in their 1-0 win.
Yes.
That's probably a little bit of retrofitting because of what happened afterwards, like a distortion of interpretation, if you like. The João Pinto tackle is a horror tackle.
I was going to say, one of the red cards I do seem to remember was about the reddest red card since Howard Schumacher.
Red card. But the second one was pretty harsh. I think there's a second yellow for Beto, and it's definitely a dive. And the referee didn't hesitate to hand out a second one and give him his marching orders. Anyway, they earned a last 16 tie against Italy. Now, this is where the story really begins, because Japan played Turkey 5 hours before the South Korea game.
Yes.
And lost 1-0.
Yes.
So Japan are now out. So South Korea are the only host nation left. And I think, as we just said, 94 and maybe Spain in 82 didn't get past the last 16. But that was the last time. They were the only times, in fact, I think,
maybe
where the host didn't do well. It doesn't matter. The point is that, as we've mentioned, hosts are important to World Cups usually. Atmosphere, intrigue. It's obviously just nice as well. Everyone's sort of a biased neutral sometimes for the hosts to a certain extent. That might be slightly changed this year. Anyway.
I like Mexico.
I like Canada. Anyway, against Italy, the referee is a chap called Brian Moreno. And we'll come to this guy because
what a guy.
He's a very interesting fella. Italy had knocked out Ecuador in the group stage, and Mr. Moreno is from Ecuador. That may or may not be relevant. I don't know. But I'm just pointing it out, just so that everyone has all of the relevant facts.
Yes. Very fair. I should point out as well, this was a very, very good Italy team as well. We're talking Buffon, Maldini, Cannavaro, Del Piero, Vieri, Totti.
Well, they'd win the next World Cup.
Quite. Indeed.
So, he gives South Korea a penalty in the first half for what I can only describe as nothing. That's in my notes. Nothing. I watched it back. I don't know why he gives a penalty.
Yeah, it was soft.
And Buffon saves it.
Yes, because he's Buffon.
And then Christian Vieri goes and bags. I actually watched an interview the other day with Vieri who said that 2006 is like his biggest regret because he didn't go.
No, he didn't.
But he puts Italy 1-0 up in the 18th minute. In the 22nd minute, Totti goes up for a 50-50 and there is a collision and his arm catches the defender very much accidentally.
Yes.
But Mr. Marino thinks it's appropriate to dish out a yellow card. So Francesco Totti is in the book.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that. In the 4th minute of the second half, he ignored what can only be described as an elbow on Alessandro Del Piero's face inside the South Korean box.
Yes.
Which should be a penalty. Which would have put, arguably, had it been scored, Italy would have been 2-0 up. And very much in the box seat, given how good they are. Sol Kyun equalises in the 88th minute. And there's nothing wrong with the equaliser. It's a well-taken goal, opportunistic. And I think this is a good opportunity for me and you to explain how we think these controversies come about. So we don't think that anyone has approached a referee and said, give all the decisions to South Korea.
No, I don't think it's that direct a lot of the time. In fact, I'd say 90% of the time it probably isn't. That is me plucking a random number off the top of my head. Don't quote me on it. But I would say a lot of the time it's not. But like, you're in a situation where it begins to get a bit competitive for referees around the knockout stages of the World Cup because all of them, especially someone an Ecuadorian referee, for example, he knows Ecuador aren't going to reach the final because they've already been knocked out. But even so, it's not likely. Or did England knock them out that year? Possibly.
Maybe.
Anyway, regardless, he is thinking ahead. I could get a semi-final. I could get the final, maybe. And then he's got lots of officials from FIFA and whoever talking about like, how great would it be if South Korea made it to a quarterfinal, made it to a semi-final, even. How great would that be? And I hope you have a good time refereeing them. Maybe you'll get to referee them again later.
Isn't this Asian World Cup amazing with the Asian teams getting out the groups?
And it doesn't have to be sort of direct, but like thinking there is something to be gained from getting a certain result could possibly influence them. And I would say similar examples to that exist a lot of the time. I would probably point to 2021 Formula One World Championship as a potential example of that. That
would be a good example of don't do anything brazen, but if the opportunity arises, take it.
Yeah, and again, we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, speculation will be occurring on our part. But yeah, this is, I can see it happening. It doesn't necessarily have to be brown envelopes under the table.
Yeah.
The referee had something to gain from this.
He's tried to give South Korea a very soft penalty. He's taken the opportunity to point to that spot. They've missed it. Italy have gone 1-0 up, and then he's conveniently ignored something that would have definitely tipped the balance in Italy's favour. And then South Korea, lo and behold, go and get that equaliser, and you have yourself extra time, which provides another 30 minutes for you to influence the outcome of the game, should the chance arise.
Yeah.
3 minutes before half-time in extra time, Francesco Totti dances into the South Korean box. The defender slides in. He does get the ball, but he smashes into Francesco Totti. It's a good tackle. I'm not suggesting it should be a penalty. The referee, Mr. Marino, is 30 yards away and has 2 South Korean players between him and the ball. He could just let play continue because, after all, he's not saying it's a foul. It could just be play on. But he blows his whistle for an indirect free kick for a dive and awards Francesco Totti a second yellow card for simulation and sends him off.
Yes, and I agree with your interpretation of that event entirely. I would argue perhaps this is not something that should ever influence a referee because it's biased ultimately one way or another. Totti did have a bit of a reputation for such behaviour. In fact, you could argue, if you were being cynical and perhaps even slightly racist, the entire Italian nation has a reputation for that kind of behaviour, but I would never do that myself. But yeah, it was a bad decision, and it has a huge effect on the game.
And maybe in isolation, we could explain it away.
Indeed.
As you said, but the second half comes round with extra time. Italy break through.
Yeah, bear in mind, this is golden goal, extra time. So any goal ends the game.
Italy break the offside trap, seemingly.
Easily.
And George Rattolino from Argentina puts his flag up instantaneously as the Italian rounds the keeper to score. He's onside.
He's miles onside.
He's
a yard onside at least, if not more.
And anyway, it starts to look as though it's going to be very, very difficult for Italy to score a legitimate winner here. And lo and behold, An Yong-hwan heads in with 3 minutes to go. Golden goal, 2-1 South Korea. They're through.
And I mean, this is a stadium obviously full of South Korean fans wearing red. It is a hell of an atmosphere.
They're going mad.
In isolation, it's a hell of a moment, to be fair, if you ignore everything that's happened preceding it. But yeah.
Did you know this? The following day, Perugia's owner, Luciano Gauci, controversially terminated Arn's contract, citing the goal against Italy as the reason.
That feels like a lawsuit waiting to happen, but I guess...
It was very much criticised for being discriminatory in nature. So he retracted it, reinstated Arn's contract, and Arn rejected it and just left Perugia.
Fair enough.
So that happened. Anyway, Mr. Marino.
Hey. This is the thing, like, again, any of this in isolation all looks dodgy, but I don't know if this is relevant or not, but it's such a good thing to let's mention it anyway, because it makes for a great story. You go, Ben. Mr. Marino.
September 2002, so not long after the World Cup's ended, he seeks election in Quito City Council, Quito being a city in Ecuador.
Yeah.
He's suspended for 20 matches and investigated by the Ecuadorian football authorities after he made timekeeping errors in a match that he refereed between LDU Quito and Barcelona SC. The decisions being in favour of LDU Quito, where he was seeking election.
That's the Ecuadorian Barcelona, by the way, not the
yes, sorry,
not FC Barcelona.
And then FIFA also investigated him due to controversies in games in Japan, Italy, and South America. Over a series of months or what have you. In May 2003, in his third game back from suspension, Mr. Marino was again suspended. This time for one match after he sent off 3 players from the visiting Deportivo Quito in a 1-1 draw with Deportivo Cuenca. And this was after he wasn't elected to the Quito City Council.
I mean, read into that what you will.
And then he went to the United States of America on a trip in September 2010.
So what was he making the trip for? Just a nice sightseeing tour?
Well, he was found with 6 kilograms of heroin in his trousers. Yeah.
We've all been there.
At John F. Kennedy International Airport. It was in his underwear, in fact, and he was sentenced to prison. So he went to 2.5 years in jail, which by American standards is a very generous sentence.
Yeah, it's not bad, to be fair. We've all accidentally smuggled drugs over international borders, though. It happened.
No comment. And that's for you, not for me, for the avoidance of doubt. Anyway, less about Mr. Marino and his drug smuggling antics, and back to the 2002 World Cup. South Korea, having advanced through the last 16 at the expense of Italy, now come up against Spain in the quarterfinals. The referee in this game is Gamal Al-Gandor from Egypt.
Yep.
The suggestion is that he was handpicked by Jack Warner, along with Michael Reganuth from Trinidad and Tobago as his assistant. Now, I don't know if that is true, but that is what the internet says.
I mean, knowing Jack Warner as I do, I would be inclined to believe the internet on that one then.
Well, he hasn't exactly covered himself in glory in the past, so I think your skepticism, and we'll call it healthy skepticism on this occasion, is well-founded.
Yes, maybe warranted.
So look, a slightly odd dynamic that Jack Warner is picking a Trinidad and Tobago assistant to referee in this game, or assist the referee in this game, and selecting the referee himself. And perhaps the events that followed make that even more suspicious. Ruben Baraja scores from a header in the second half for Spain, and it's disallowed by the referee because of an alleged shirt pull and pushing in the penalty area. Nobody appeals for a foul.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't get fouled or commit a foul.
We're used to, in this modern age, like the hyper-analysis of fouls by VAR after the fact, and goal again ruled out for stupid stuff like that, but it doesn't happen on the fly. Not with that lack of contact, relatively speaking. So, yeah, suspicious.
Yeah, I think the assistant may have had a role in spotting the alleged infringement.
Eagle-eyed.
The thing that really stinks is in the first half of extra time, because as we were saying, it's golden goal stuff. And so, like Italy, as they round the keeper, have to be stopped before the ball goes in. Same applies to Spain. And Fernando Morientes, who it will be well known to Liverpool fans in particular, appeared to score a perfectly legitimate golden goal, another header, and the referee disallowed it after the linesman raised his flag and said that the ball had gone out of play.
Yeah, Joaquin getting the cross in, yeah.
Jack, the ball is like almost fully in play.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's not even, this isn't one where it's like, 9/10 off the pitch and you could understand the interpretation of it. The ball is in the field of play.
And again, we've seen these things hyper-analysed via VAR, where even with VAR, we're not convinced the right decisions being made. Arsenal have been have been caught out by that before, I guess you could say, or screwed over by that before. It's probably more accurate. Mm-hmm. This wasn't close. It wasn't. It wasn't anywhere near going out.
Manufactured.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
to quote Lewis Hamilton, it's being manipulated, man.
Yeah. Nice little callback there. It's in isolation. Any of these is like, well, bad decisions happen. Do bad decisions happen over 2 consecutive games against the same opponent who happen to be the hosts, and there happens to be a will to within the governing body to advance them?
And people are making officiating selections. I mean, why is Jack Warner involved in the officiating selection process?
That in itself is,
smelly.
Whoever is choosing the officials has to be completely independent from what's going on. It should be should be a spreadsheet doing it, honestly.
The fact that it was a CONCACAF assistant with Jack Warner's influence.
Yeah, and Jack Warner was dictator of CONCACAF.
And as we
said,
said,
absolute power and the access to so much money.
And if there was another confederation that is linked to CONCACAF and the controversies of FIFA, it's CAF, and it's a CAF referee.
Yeah.
It does start to
pretty smelly.
Look a particular way.
0-0.
Still 0-0. So it goes to penalties, and Korea prevail 5-3. They're into the World Cup semi-final. And I think everyone probably sits back at FIFA and says, that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
We can't really upset the apple cart here. It would look a bit silly if we got them all the way to the final.
I mean, they nearly did.
Did. Michael Ballack had something to say about that, though.
Yeah, and it wasn't the best Germany team, so it could happen. That Germany team were probably relatively fortunate to reach the final. It was, Germany have had better teams, put it that way, in the past, and certainly got better teams over the next 12 years or so as they hosted and then eventually won the World Cup. But yeah, it all ended for them in the semi-final, beaten by Germany, who eventually lost to Brazil in the final. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a lot.
Brazil team was sensational.
Brazil team was incredible. Like, we obviously talking about it at length yesterday while watching this year's Brazil team stumble to a 1-1 draw against, frankly, a much better Morocco team.
Yeah.
It is incredible.
The fall from grace for that nation in footballing terms is quite spectacular.
Yeah, they never did really recover from that 7-1 defeat, did they?
No. The collective national trauma is palpable. And you and I we want to talk about Ronaldo at some point, and we're going to do a whole episode on...
We do, yeah. We'll do that soon, probably in the next couple of episodes. But yeah.
But so we'll talk a little bit more about that Brazil success in 2002. But to end this story and to round it off, you've already mentioned Brazil beat Germany in the final, but South Korea played Turkey, a very good Turkey side who got all the way to the semis before losing to Brazil. They went down to that Turkey side 3-2 in a game that, frankly, no one ever cares about.
The third place playoff, no.
But it's the best finish by an Asian nation still, fourth place.
Yeah, and it's again, like, I like South Korea. I've always been fond of South Korea. They produce some very good footballers, and they do generally have a really good spirit and team sort of set up about them. But that was just, there's too much. I mean,
smelly.
You're talking disputed penalty, Totti gets sent off, disallowed goal by Tomasi, Baraka's disallowed goal, Morientes' disallowed winner. All of those, all within 2 games.
Arguably the Beto, second yellow in the groups.
Arguably, yeah, but yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's the only time it's happened, so...
Yeah.
Now, probabilities and all that, things can align, the maths, but, if it looks weird, smells weird, tastes weird, probably is weird, isn't it?
I mean, so I guess the silver lining on it is the next 2 World Cups were won by first Italy and then Spain, so... Didn't take them too long to sort of get over that particular trauma, so it probably hasn't lingered.
No.
Ultimately, but yeah, that's really neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there. But yeah, look, refereeing controversies, I am sure someone will have something to complain about in this tournament. I mean, I said there was no controversy, and that's not true, actually. We've already had the offside issue in the Switzerland-Qatar game. Yeah,
I think it probably wasn't offside, to be fair, but... it would have been lovely to have been shown a replay of it at some point. And the fact that they have been showing replays of every close decision, but not that one. I think the argument for that was because it was onside and it was flagged. It was onside on the field, and the decision wasn't changed. They didn't show the replay of it, which I kind of get. But equally,
what's wrong with transparency?
Give the people what they want.
Yeah, what's wrong with transparency?
Be transparent. Yeah. So there you are. No one trusts FIFA. So
that's the biggest problem, isn't it? You reap what you sow.
Yeah.
There we are. Well, look, here's to more refereeing controversies as long as they don't afflict England.
Indeed, although they inevitably will. Thanks for saying that, Ben. Cheers.
You're welcome.
Now we're jinxed. It's going to be your fault we don't win the World Cup.
Well, we'll find out soon enough. See you on the next one when we'll be talking cartels.
We will be. I'll see you there.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for episode 4 of our who knows how many part World Cup series. We hope you enjoyed it and that it didn't drag up too many painful memories for you. If the former, please spread the word and tell a friend. If the latter, well, maybe this will be your year. Unless you're Italian, of course. Our theme tune is Oh Yeah by Harmonia Productions. You can find us on Instagram and Blue Sky at The Sporting Almanac. We'll be carrying on with the World Cup series soon. Until then, keep watching, keep cheering, And if you're in the US and you meet a Scottish fan, buy them a drink. Them's the rules. Goodbye.